Call the city council meeting to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Stringham?
Here.
Felder? Hayter?
Here.
Stillgrave? Vining? Jermaine?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here. Please rise for the invocation. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Guide our working together. Give us wisdom to make the right decisions, your understanding to listen to each other, and your compassion to promote the peace and welfare of this community.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, next item, please.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of the regular agenda.
Robinson, any amendments or changes to the agenda?
The administration has no amendments or changes to the agenda.
Council have any suggestions or requests on the agenda? Seeing none, motion to approve the agenda. Councilwoman Stringham?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steelgrave. Steelgrave, I'm sorry. I'm only smiling because last week I switched them once already. So motion by Councilwoman Steelgrave, supported by Councilwoman Stringham to approve the agenda. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Stringham?
Yes.
Felder?
Yes.
Hayter?
Yes.
Stillgrave?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Jermaine?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes. Next item, please.
The next item is the consent agenda, and for approval of payments, item B, the amount should read $2,017,424.96, 2017-424.96.
Thank you. Are there any items on the consent agenda that council wishes to have pulled for further discussion? Any items from city council to be pulled from the consent agenda? Seeing none, are there any items on the consent agenda that those present here this evening wish to have pulled for further discussion? Any items from the consent agenda from those present? Seeing none, motion is in order. Councilman Felder?
I'd like to make a motion that all items on the consent agenda be accepted, placed on file, recommendations carried out, and resolutions adopted.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Felder, supported by Councilwoman Steelgrave, the consent agenda, that all items on the consent agenda be accepted, placed on file, resolutions adopted.
Councilperson Stringham?
Yes.
Felder?
Yes.
Hayter?
Yes.
Stillgrave?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Jermaine?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes. Next item, please.
The next item is under presentations, communications, and public hearings. It's item 5557, the 2025 Summer Tax Collection Report. This is communication from the Treasurer's Office.
You're going to give? Thank you.
So it's just, we don't need any action. It's just there for council's information.
Okay, so we, in the packet, and you should have the 2025 winter tax, I'm sorry, the 2025 summer tax collection report. Any questions or any comments from council? Okay, this is not an action item, so it doesn't require a motion, but it is a communication that we've received that will be on file with the clerk's office for those that wish to may see it later. Next item, please.
The next item is under council action. It's item 5562, approval of furniture purchase for ALCC expansion.
Thank you, Manager Robinson.
Yes, Your Honor and Council, this is seeking your approval for the complete furniture purchase for the ALCC expansion. The furniture selections have been approved by the MCOP, the library chair, and their director, as well as the Learning Bank for their selections. And we're asking that you approve this. We are requesting a 50% deposit to be able to, as they were requiring now, and we're asking for this approval now to avoid later on being possibly subject to escalating tariff costs for this furniture.
Thank you. Any questions from council for Manager Robinson? Any questions regarding the furniture purchase? Councilwoman Jermaine?
So do we have to order this furniture now and then get it delivered and store it?
No, we're hoping by our order that it'll time right about the time for our grand opening of the actual center. That'll be there, just trying to time it perfectly, yes.
Thank you.
Other questions? Councilwoman Vining?
What's the time frame?
expected time frame?
I would say that they're looking at ordering it now. We have to have the 50% deposit, then they're gonna start in production, so I would imagine it would take probably 6 to 8 months.
Which aligns with the opening that's been proposed.
Right,
time
the
that we're looking
proposed
for.
opening for the expansion, yes.
Okay,
Your Honor.
yes,
I move to approve the purchase of the furniture for the ALCC expansion project from ISCG Incorporated in the total amount of $291,200.80. Authorize the immediate payment of the required 50% deposit. Authorize the Assistant City Manager, Director of Economic and Community Development to execute the necessary agreements on behalf of the city, and authorize the Assistant Manager, Finance Director to transfer $74,300 from Capital Projects Fund balance for full funding of this order.
motion by Councilwoman Vine, supported by Councilwoman Stringham, item 5562, approval of the furniture purchase for the ALCC expansion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Stringham? Felder? Hayter?
Yes.
Stillgrave?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Jermaine?
Yes.
Yes. Next item, please.
The next item is item 5561, proposed ordinance 25-008 to amend chapter 580 signage.
Manager Robinson?
Yes, Your Honor, Director Cochran has prepared a PowerPoint to show the amendments and the purpose of the proposed ordinance amendment, and he'd like to present that.
Thank you. Mr. Cochran?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, Clerk Treasurer Lavoy. So we do have a brief PowerPoint for you because oftentimes a picture speaks 1,000 words when it comes time to ordinances and what the language revisions mean. So I wanted to walk you through this. This is probably, I think, the second or third time since we overhauled the sign ordinance that we've brought an amendment to you. The world of signs changes and it changes fast, and we do our best to monitor trends and future forecasts in terms of where things are going, as well as requests that we get at the city. And once we start to receive multiple ones that may not be in compliance with our ordinance, we take a look at, are the requests reasonable? Should we update the ordinance to accommodate? Because ultimately what we want to do is try and avoid people having to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals each and every time. And so as a reminder, in our sign ordinance, we've divided the city up into sign zones. So Zone A is that area primarily along the Telegraph Road corridor. I know this is small on your screen, but it's just to provide an overview. Zone A is along Telegraph Road. Zone B is the area along I-75 in the industrial area on the right side of the screen. Zone C is primarily the Heritage Corridor and portions of the Orchard East neighborhood. And zone also that section up on Telegraph Road, just east of Telegraph, or Stewart Road, just east of Telegraph Road, where Stewart Road Church of God is located. And then Zone D is the downtown and the Downtown Development Authority District. And then what is called Zone E is everywhere else in the city. And so looking at how that's broken down, one of the trends that we wanted to bring before you for consideration and amendment deals with electronic message signs. So recognizing the top photo is generally historically how message board signs have been changed, going out there and changing each individual letter. But as technology changes, this has changed how businesses and other organizations choose to purchase new signs that are electronic to save on the time that it takes to replace all those letters, and also changeable copy to perhaps announce and message multiple different things at once. And so we have a few of these. In the previous sign code, we updated it where electronic message boards were generally allowed in all zones A, B, C, and D, but not in zone E, which is the remainder of the city. But there's been several instances where we've talked with folks or where folks have wanted to update primarily institutions that are located in, say, residential areas or non-core commercial or industrial areas, wanting to update to electronic message signs. Recent conversations include Monroe Public Schools. Of course, they're primarily located in residential areas, but think about the old Arborwood is now renamed Hollywood and Cantrick, and they're planning to replace several of their signs and would like to include electronic message signs to advertise school events and other announcements for the school community. However, recognizing those are in residential areas, we think about what impact that may have on the surrounding area and what sort of parameters can we put in place to limit perhaps unfavorable consequences of electronic signs in residential neighborhoods. Also, churches have been another instance where we've received requests to replace traditional manual message boards with electronic message boards. So what we're proposing is to allow electronic message signs to be included in Zone E with certain restrictions. The maximum, previously also, I should say, we have allowed for monument signs and pole signs to have manual message board signs, but not electronic in certain areas too. But when we think about it, what we're proposing is to update this to allow all monument, pole signs, wall signs, and marquee signs to have changeable message space that would include manual and electronic in no more than 60% of that sign, so a little more than half. And we have some examples to show you of what that could look like. The requirements remain the same. No direct light or significant glare on adjacent lots in a residential district. And then for all electronic signs and all lit signs, we require that there be no more than a 1/2-foot candle maximum at the property line. What that means is if you're holding a candle directly in front of your foot, how far does that illuminate? And this would limit the amount of bleed over across a property line. Also, a light sensor requirement. So at the time of day, if it's darker out, it would dim and not be so bright. Whereas when the sun is out and light is hitting it, it could be brighter. And then allowing only for static transitions. When we think about safety for motorists, this is always a big concern. Thinking about how fast those signs are changing, and also what sort of distractions may catch a driver's eye as they're going by. And so allowing for static transitions only, meaning they can't spin, they can't rotate, they can't grow and then shrink and things of that sort. It can only be a static change, much like changing the slide. And then also in Zone C, D, and E, 1 transition per minute. These are generally best standards for speed based on speed limit. So in Zone C, D, and E, generally they are lower speed limits, 35 miles or lower. But in Zones A and B, which are Telegraph Road and I-75, allowing for 30-second changes in those districts where motorists may be going a little faster. And I will say these are also in line with the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration and their recommendations and standards as well. So those are the requirements in order to not be visually obstructive, but also find a way to have compromise to allow the message signs in areas outside of just the traditional commercial districts. So when you think about this sign, this is the old Hollywood, then Arborwood, now the new Hollywood Elementary School. The sign copy, the changeable copy, this is about 60% of a sign. And so that manual message board sign could be changed to a digital sign, and I know Monroe Public Schools is pursuing this later this year. But also looking at the setbacks and how bright that would be, we would require those standards so it doesn't impact the surrounding residential neighborhood. This was actually a case that we had recently that went to the Zoning Board of Appeals, First Baptist Church on North Custer across from Veterans Park. They had desired to change out their sign from a manual message board, and if you've driven by it, the Zoning Board of Appeals did allow for the variance. This was actually taken today, appropriate given tomorrow's election day, but they've changed it, and you can see this is still within the 60%, about the size, still has the identifying name of the business or the institution in this area, as well as the address. And again, I was out there today looking at it and very static, and the number of times that it changed, I didn't believe it was too distracting. Other areas across the city, the River Raisin National Battlefield has a digital message board. Iceberg Heating and Cooling on Telegraph Road, Independent Dairy, and others have installed them. And we do work with them, and we do monitor to make sure that they're staying in compliant with the standards and the requirements as well. So for digital message boards, that's the primary change, is expanding where they're allowed to be located across the city, and then not differentiating between manual and digital going into the future in recognition of technology. Any questions on electronic signs?
Questions from council?
Okay. And then the next change, this was the last change, dealing with wall signs. So this has come up multiple times. Right now in the sign ordinance, in zones A through D, so that's all the colored zones on the map, we have that they cannot extend beyond the second story windowsill. So if you think about a 2-story building or a higher building, you can't have a sign above the bottom of the windowsill on the second story. So when you think about commercial areas, and I've got several other examples that we can go through, or even downtown, allowing signage to go above that is what we're proposing to allow for a few different reasons, which I'll get into. But the proposed change would allow it to go all the way up to the top of the building, 3 feet below the lowest point of the roof. And so it can't extend above the roof, it can't go on top of the building, and nor can it go off the side of the building. So it can be only located anywhere, but not above the roof and not off the sides. And then the requirement in Zone E, we took a hard look at this. This is everywhere else in the city. And so we started thinking about, well, what covers Zone E? And primarily it's our residential districts, not the core commercial districts where there's many multiple story buildings, but where there are multiple story buildings, they're in residential districts, and they're mostly institutional. So we are recommending to allow for wall signs to go above the second story for religious institutions, government, schools, and healthcare facilities, but still follow those same requirements that it can't go above the roof line or off the sides of the building. They must be downlit with no bare bulbs, meaning no neon or string or anything like that within the sign. They can be internally lit within or have low halo lettering. And we've got some examples of that to show you as well. But again, that's meant to not shine up or out. And those same lighting standards apply, that they can't produce light glare or reflection onto neighboring properties, and the lights can't extend beyond the property line. So a couple examples that were in Zone E that we took a look at. Monroe Middle School, you can see they've got their band sign near the top of the building. Right now, this would be considered a non-conforming sign. This could only be allowed, if you can see, you can't see my mouse, but right above the first story windows would be the highest a sign could go on this building. ProMedica Monroe Regional Hospital, again, this is in Zone E. They, right now, if council adopts what's being proposed, this sign would be permitted. At some point, our sign ordinance changed where it was allowed when ProMedica originally installed these signs. But again, the lighting requirements were addressed. But, again, in this case, a sign couldn't go above the second story windowsill. River Park Place, the high rise on North Rossler Street, and then the thrift shop. So this example, if you look at the top of the building is named, but then there's tenants. So a couple times this has come up where we've had requests. One is the Benish building has a new owner downtown, and they're proposing, they've already named the building HQ. Is the name of the development, but then each tenant has a sign above the first floor window. And so looking at other examples of other buildings where the building is named, but not necessarily after the tenant, again, it's an identifier of the building and then also the ability to identify the tenants. So also Fedco is proposing a new sign on their property, thinking about their proximity to I-75 as well as in the industrial area, limiting them to only have a sign above the first floor window. We found it rather unreasonable, but to allow it higher where it can be more visible to traffic going by on I-75 and other areas. So those are two specific folks who have requested it. But again, these were other examples where we found the request to be reasonable and worthy of taking a look at an amendment.
Questions for Mark on the presentation and signs and descriptions? I don't see any, Mark.
You're welcome.
Thanks. So Manager Robinson, on this item, obviously it's before us today. It's not an action item, but it is to
Reading.
the first reading and then set the second reading and public hearing at a later date, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. If there's any questions from council, if not, regarding this item, a motion. Councilwoman Germain?
Move that ordinance 25-008, an ordinance to amend chapter 580 signage of the Code of the City of Monroe be placed on the floor for its first reading and the second reading and public hearing be set for Monday, November 17th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m.
Motion by Councilwoman Germain, supported by Councilman Hayter on item 5561, proposed ordinance 25-008 to amend chapter 580 signage. Clerk, please call the roll.
Brigham. Yes. Felder.
Yes.
Hayter.
Yes.
Stilgrave.
Yes.
Vining.
Yes.
Jermaine.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Ordinance 25-008, Chapter 580, signage. An ordinance to amend 501, sign maintenance, non-conforming signs and other requirements, Section 8.01, awning, attached canopies and marquee signs, electronic changeable messages, monument signs, projecting signs, and wall signs of Chapter 580, signage of the Code of the City of Monroe.
Thank you. And next item.
I have no further items this evening, Your Honor.
No further items. It is November. Councilwoman Stringham, comments this evening?
Well, I hope everybody gets out and votes. Either has done it early, like I did on Saturday. It was convenient to come in, or comes out tomorrow. So hope it goes very well for all of the voters. And I see on the agenda, the events coming up, the Veterans Day Parade. So that is going to be Saturday, the 8th at 3 p.m. So just if you're going to be out and about, just be aware of that because it will affect traffic for that period of time.
Very good. Councilman Felder?
Just hope that everyone who is able participates in the election tomorrow. And then, of course, Veterans Day being the 11th and the parade on the 8th. Some stuff coming up. Hope everyone had a great Halloween, and we look forward to Thanksgiving. That's all.
Councilman Hayter?
If you haven't got out and voted yet, please do tomorrow, and that's all I have.
Councilwoman Steelgrave?
Friday night is Girlfriend's Night Out, and I believe that starts at 5 o'clock, and you can pick up your bags at Michigan Wine and Beer Portal, and they'll have little trinkets and things like that in there. That's all I have.
Councilwoman Vining?
I hope to see everyone out at the polls tomorrow. And for Precinct 3 South, of course, due to the construction work going on over at the old 3 South polling location at the Navarre Library, we'll be voting at 911 East 3rd Street, which is the new Fire Station 1. So look for the signs. If you get confused, call the clerk's office. Everyone should have already received their new voter registration. But Precinct 3 South will be voting at 911 East 3rd Street at Fire Station 1. See you guys there tomorrow.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Just a couple comments, something I meant to mention at the last meeting. Last month, we had 3 new businesses Oh, Councilwoman Germaine. Sorry. I do this every time.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll make it quick.
Don't take your
Yes,
time.
just please get out and vote. That's all I want to say.
Oh,
Now you can have it.
okay, I'll start again. So last month, we had 3 new businesses that opened. One is in the downtown at 118 North Monroe. It's called Blush. It's a women's apparel store, plus other amenities and jewelry items. So if you have not been there, I know some of the council members already have. It's a nice store and very welcoming personnel. They had a chance to talk to them on their opening. Next is Top Trend Barbers. It's located at 511 Telegraph, North Telegraph Road. It's by Lorraine Street. It was fun to meet the gentleman there. They had a opening here last month, and even got a couple people going to get their hair cut with them. I'll be pending. So this next, just a couple doors down, Stonehouse Mediterranean at 525 North Telegraph is open. Excellent food. I know my wife and I have been there a couple times. If you have the opportunity, stop and see them. Really good business owners. They have 2 other locations across southeast Michigan. One's up in Macomb County, and the other is in Oakland County area. And they're glad to be down this way, and they're looking at another location here in the county. I want to give a shout out at our communications department. Our communications done a lot of hard work over the time. They've really putting together a lot of information regarding the hometown holiday lights, but mostly it's about the newsletter. I know many people receive the newsletter. It's simple. You go onto the city's website and you give your email, and you get it emailed to you twice a month. So it's they have over almost 9,000 email addresses they're sending out to, and you figure there's multiple people in each home. The amount of people that they're reaching, but they're really doing some great work. I wanted to give them a shout out. I want to thank the staff yet again regarding grant funding. Another grant was obtained through the Economic Development Department from DTE Foundation for trees. $4,000 is the grant that we received to plant trees here for this fall at the end of the year. The last thing I have is I want to give recognition to the Water Department. I see that Director Barry Leroy is here. I found this only because I got it through SEMCOG, and he was at a meeting, and our Water Department, as we know, last year, or here recently, have celebrated their 100th anniversary. And it comes to be that the Michigan Water Environment Association highlighted the Monroe Water Department, Monroe Metropolitan Wastewater Treatment Plant, I should say also, on the Michigan Water Environment Association newsletter. It was the 100th annual conference that they've held. It was held in Dearborn, and I thought it was a nice little publication that they put out, and there's a nice article about the city of Monroe and the wastewater plant. So a lot of that we have done. We know that, the work that our staff has done. So Barry, thank you, and congratulations for the recognition and the spot there with I'll say the publication and the work you do with others. I think that's my last comment. I'm going to give a shout out though to somebody that's here today. One of our former fire chiefs is here today, Ray Solo, and he may want to chat. I don't know, but we'll wait and see. Clerk Lavoie.
Thank you. And thank you, Councilwoman Vining. You gave all of the information that I was going to give, but I think it bears repeating because we've been working really hard to make sure that everyone living in 3 South who is eligible for voting understands that the move was something that couldn't be helped, and the new facility is going to be great, but what that means is temporarily we're relocating the voting to Station 1 at 911 East 3rd Street, the new fire station. It has a beautiful training/community room, and this is giving us an opportunity not just to use it for elections, but it's just one more opportunity for people to come in and see it. We're utilizing it for one of the purposes it was placed there for, and I think it's going to be a pleasant location to vote in. So polls open at 7 a.m. and they're open until 8 p.m. tomorrow. One thing to keep in mind that every municipality across the county has an election due to the countywide proposal that's on the ballot. In some cases, there has been consolidation of precincts in some of those locations, but not here in the city. We keep every precinct open and available. We will be collecting AV ballots from the drop boxes located throughout the city every hour, on the hour, including and up to 8 p.m. There will be somebody stationed there at 8 p.m. to make the last collection. 8 p.m. is the last moment that you have to turn in an absentee ballot. So if you have that, feel free to either bring it to City Hall, put it in the drop box, and know that it will be transported back to City Hall in time to be counted through the AV counting board. Or you can take it to your precinct now and vote it yourself. You can put it through the tabulator yourself, and the inspectors there would help you do that. So lots of different ways to get your voice heard and your vote counted. I want to let you know that City Hall will be open beginning at 7 a.m. tomorrow to assist with voting. There will be, a number of us will probably be out in the field making sure that everything kicks off, but there will be people on the phones, and if you come in to do with any voting questions, we'll be there to answer those questions. Finally, I just wanted to thank everyone, citizens, some folks who are our neighbors in other townships choose to work in the city on election day. Staff, we have staff volunteers from City Hall who work with us during the day. DPS does a great job setting up. Engineering, I called them at the last minute to get additional A-frame signs so we could put some additional signage at the library and at the fire station. And Mr. Lewis and his team responded right away. This doesn't happen without everyone's efforts, and I think it's really important from the team that I work with in the city clerk's office. Like I said, I even got a call today from the assessor, and she said, "Hey, I worked the receiving board last year. Do you need me again?" So I really appreciate everybody coming together. That's how we keep moving forward, and we keep running some of the best darn elections in the county, I'm pretty sure. So we'll keep that up. We have the results will be posted on the board in the video screen in the lobby, and they will be rolling. So as they come in, our Terry Davis and his team will be making sure those are up. We will be doing a canvass of the election at 8 o'clock on Thursday, November 6th. Yeah. That's in addition to the county canvass, but by charter, we're asked to do a canvass of our city election, and so we will come together here at 8 o'clock. It is an open meeting, and everyone is welcome to attend. I can't think of anything else, but have I forgotten something? Oh, the I voted stickers. Yes, the I voted sticker contest. Those students who's won the popular vote and those that were the clerk's choice. And all of the finalists, because like I said, they were all just too good not to print. Those are going to be available in the precincts. But if you're a traditionalist and you're looking for the regular I voted sticker, that too will be available. So I know not to mess with those stickers. But we're really excited about that. And then on November 17th, if you can't make it down here, I encourage you to watch the meeting on YouTube, because we will be recognizing those students here in council chambers at the regular meeting. So and that's all I have.
Thank you. So the canvass the vote on Thursday, November 6th November 6th on Thursday at 8 p.m.
8
correct?
p.m., yes.
All right, thank you. Manager Robinson.
I don't really have any other comments, but I want to wish all the council members and all the candidates well, and urge our voters that this is, our residents, this is your time to get out and choose your leaders. And I ask that everybody make the effort to cast their vote. That's it.
Thank you. Next, we have citizens' comments. If there are any comments from those present here this evening, just be mindful, please state your name, jurisdiction of residence, and you have 3 minutes. Any comments from those present here this evening? Yes, sir.
Elliot James, 633 Stone Street. I just got one question. What happens to all the couches and the stuff at the old community center when the new stuff come in?
I really don't know what they'll end up doing with that. I'm sure that'll be something that potentially would go to a city auction based on the value. At a certain time, if there's a lot of furniture, we try to keep those things until we actually would reach a point where we say, okay, we're going to hold an auction, a public auction, and we could sell those things at that point in time. Just depends on the value, because I know that if it's something over $1,000, we're supposed to make sure that we have approval to get rid of it, but it just depends on the condition and the value.
Thank you. And I still want to tell you about the bike trail that goes around the east end. I'm still fighting for that. If you hear anything, let me know.
Sure enough, sir, thank you. And it's a great question about the furniture and equipment, because we do sell through the bidding process at some things, but some things we find reuse for. If not, and it depends on the condition. So if there's further we find out, we'll bring that back also as the date gets closer. Other comments from those present here this evening? Ray's saying no, but I want to thank you. Welcome back to Monroe. Spent the last few years in Florida, as I understand.
I'd like to say that the only thing I'd like to say is the faces have changed, but it's the same game. It all looks the same.
Well, thank you. And if there's no other comments, motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Councilwoman Steelgrave, supported by Councilwoman Vining. Clerk, please call the roll.
Hingham. Felder. Hader. Stillgrave. Vining. Jermaine. Mayor Clark.
Thank you all for being here.